Yes, the first lot was Moldavite, the second lot is Tektite. You will appreciate the sound because it vibrates at an amazing frequency. This is a singing bowl made of Moldavite. Okay, welcome everybody. 46 people, excellent. Because it was so in the moment and spontaneous, which Invoke TV will be. Get used to this, because once you jump over to Invoke TV, which will be like you know, all the other channels in the world, radio channels, TV channels, this is going to be specifically about crystals, specifically about uplifting, positivity, sharing valuable information to help heal you through the times of sadness, grief, and what we're going through right now, which obviously a lot of people are feeling that low level of what they call depression. But anyway, this channel is going to be amazing. But until then, I'm going to keep doing as much as I can on YouTube until our channel is created where we're not suppressed, we're not belittled, we're not mocked, ridiculed. This channel is for open-mindedness. Invoke TV will be a channel where we will have monitors, so that if there's anybody who is, you know, I kind of consider it's going to be like my house. At the moment they start being nasty, you say, hey, listen, I think it's better time you go, you know. So where, you know, hey, there's nothing wrong with you feeling down and knee-jerking and getting a bit upset. That we're not kicking anybody off for that. We understand that we do get upset from time to time. We do say the wrong things. That's not, you know, it's not going to be a censorship channel at all, guys. It's going to be a channel where people are there to heal and help. And if we see somebody upset, we're going to go and try and help them. And that's how the world should be. And unfortunately, it isn't like that at the moment. It seems to be survival of the fittest, and it seems to be hate everybody, ridicule everybody, and everybody is a potential murderer because they're not either wearing a mask, or even if they are wearing a mask, they could be potentially a carrier of a deadly disease, which, as we all know, guys, it's everything has been blown up well out of proportion to fit the agenda of a certain few people who are making right now literally trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, and a big smile on their face because they know exactly what's going on. Anyway, today's all about yes, I'm live, and sometimes it goes off, sometimes it comes on. Nothing I can do about that, guys. You're gonna have to bear with it. But yeah, we're talking all things crystals. So we start at 2 o'clock, so we've got 3 minutes to go, and then everybody can jump on board, and hopefully there'll be a few more people jumping on board, and we can get up to at least 100 to 200, seeing as though it was short notice. But even 50 people on now, you're beautiful 50 people, and you're the 50 people who are meant to be on. And what I'm going to share with you is a fraction of the Pure Energy Healing Practitioner's course, Crystals. So basically we've got two courses. The first course is Pure Energy Healing, that is the art of healing. And the second one is Pure Energy Healing with crystals. So you'll learn how to heal with crystals. You'll learn about crystals, where to put them, how to use them, how to clean them, how to energize them, how to do many, many things. So I'm going to share with you in this next hour or so, I don't know how long it'll go on. Let's see how we feel. I'm going to share with you secrets that I've learned from shamans, from witches, from every walk of life who stepped on a path of spiritual awareness. So I learned all of these techniques, and I tried them. Some worked for me, some didn't. Some didn't work, and then 2 or 3 years later did work. So I never believe nothing is right or wrong. It is just right for you at that right moment, and things do change depending on your energy, how and I don't believe in this, oh, the further I go into spirituality, the further I become more powerful. I don't believe in that. I believe that the path of life is powerful at any given moment. The crystal healer's life is powerful at any given moment. And you're only as good as your last healing session with crystals. So I never have ego, or I never believe that I am the source of the power. I look up and say, thanks, guys. And that's how I work. I work in humble energy. I work with crystals. There's never a crystal that I haven't loved before. I love all crystals. It doesn't matter what. Approximately, I think 30,000. It keeps changing. So, but I have also a philosophy about crystals that there are far more than what we are led to believe that are crystals. And the reason why is because there is a group of people who deemed it upon themselves that they are the ones to give you a stamp or a seal of approval whether a crystal is a crystal, depending on its mineral content. I say I would stick two fingers God-given earth to say whether a crystal is a crystal because of the scientific analysis and looking through a microscope and saying, okay, we can deem this a crystal because of this reason, that reason. I have met many crystals that were, in my opinion, more powerful than what is deemed as a crystal in the eyes of a scientist. And I've been to caves, I've been to places where they said, well, they're not really crystals, so we can't sell them as crystals. And I said, who says you can't sell them as crystals? Well, there is kind of like a club. And I'm saying, are you kidding me? Oh yeah. And to get this certified, you have to send it in and then they have to study it and they'll tell you whether it's a crystal. And I find that a shame. So the reason why I say there's more crystals than what we are told and led to believe is because there are. And there was one particular crystal that I found on a beautiful location in America, and I named it because the guy said, well, there's no name for this. And I said, I held it and I felt instantly calm and relief. And I said, I would call this Carmite or Carmenite. And he said, wow, beautiful name. I said, yeah, it feels like I'm feeling really calm. And he said, yeah, it's got that really beautiful energy of feeling calm. So I ended up buying 3 or 4 pieces, which cost me a fortune. And the reason why is because where this was dug from, one of these pieces out took forever. And it was like finding it. It was like gold dust. And I bought them nearly all. I couldn't afford the big bit, which was thousands and thousands, but the little pieces I could afford, which were like hundreds of euros. Anyway, to cut a long story short, every single crystal in my eyes, whether it is deemed a crystal or not, has a unique frequency. And that's what fascinates me with crystals. I began the path of crystals when a lady gave me a crystal at the very beginning of my journey. And I remember it was in my pocket. And I was giving readings and a few healing sessions, not really using crystals and didn't really know much about them. But I knew the art of healing and I knew it was great and it was doing some good work. Anyway, to cut a long story short, this crystal was with me for, I don't know, maybe a week or two. I'm not exaggerating when I say I can't really remember exactly, but I can remember certain points of this conversation that started me with crystals. This was over 16 years ago. So I'm working on clients, giving readings, and this crystal kept coming out of my pocket. And I kept holding it as I was speaking to my client and giving healing sessions. And anyway, one day, a friend called me, and she was a client, but she was also a friend. And she said, can we meet for a coffee? And I used to say, yeah, sure, I'd love to meet for coffee. We sat down. We ended up talking about a conversation. I had this crystal in my hand for some reason as we were talking, and she brought her little daughter with her. And I put this crystal down on the coffee table, and as soon as I put it down on the coffee table, the little girl ran round and grabbed it, and she held on to it, and she was fascinated by it. I never really thought too much about it, but of course we gave each other a kiss, we went on our way, and of course I let the little girl have the crystal, never thought anything more about it. It was just a crystal, you know. Some weeks later, I had a phone call from this same lady, and she told me the story about her daughter, and I didn't know about, and that part of her life was night terrors, and that's how she called them. And she said, and she was also being bullied at school. Now these are the points that I remember. And she said, Mark, there's something absolutely fascinating that's happened. And I said, what? She said, do you remember the crystal that you let my daughter have? And I said, oh yeah, I remember that. And she said, Mark, she said, I can't explain this, but that night she fell asleep and she slept all the way through. And I went, oh, okay. And then, because she never told me at that point, and she said, and at school, she had a beautiful day at school. And I said, okay. She said, so I want to tell you why I'm ringing you. My daughter had suffered from night terrors for a long time, and she always got up at a certain time. I don't know whether it was 3 o'clock in the morning or 2, something like that. I went, oh wow, okay, I didn't know that, you never told me. She says, yeah, I didn't tell you, no. And she said, and she's been bullied at school for as long as we can remember. She said the bullying stopped. So I'm trying to understand what she's saying, because I didn't get it. And she says, Mark, it was the crystal. What do you mean it was the crystal? She says, well, she's got it in her hand. It's with her all the time, and there's no other explanation. So me being me, I said, no, I said, there must be something that's happened. It's either coincidence, or did you feed her something? Has she been eating something different? Has she been going for therapy? Have you changed the music in the house? Has anything happened in the house where daddy's become happier? Anything? She said, I swear on my life, Mark, nothing has changed from the moment that you gifted her that crystal till right now. Well, I went, okay, I didn't really know what to do with that, but I said, see you later, and I'm really happy that she's okay. She went, I sat down and I started thinking about this. And all of a sudden, whether you believe it's a message from the universe or whether it's your higher intuition, because I was receiving a lot of downloads from the universe. Anybody can receive downloads, by the way. And the download was the crystal had been healing all your clients for many things. One of the things that I realized when I was using that crystal was one client. There were other healing sessions which were to do with strengthening one's spiritual core, strengthening people's self-confidence. There were lots of, like, I was trying to remember what healing sessions was I holding that crystal. And when I looked back and thought about it, it was like a penny drop moment. And I remember running home and saying to my wife then, saying, this is incredible. And I said, look at, and I wrote it all down. I said, look at the coincidence with the amount of people that I gave healing sessions to who had trouble with sleeping, trouble with nightmares, trouble with mind chatter, trouble with all of these things. And look at all of these clients who came from lack of self-worth, fearing of boyfriends who were abusing them. And just look at the pattern, because I used to write everybody's issues with for 9 months, and I stopped. So I got the information there, and I thought, this is too weird. This is too weird. And how is it that when I look at the healing sessions I gave with this crystal, to how that little girl ended up with that crystal out of sheer coincidence, because I had a chat with this lady, nothing to do with her daughter. The daughter quickly grabbed it, and then her pain and issue disappeared. That was my moment when I realized that there is something significant and something very special with healing with crystals. So from that moment on, a decade and a half, I know the power of crystals and the power of healing and the combination of you becoming a healer, using that healing energy to then put into a crystal, because that crystal holds memory. Computers have crystals inside them. It's because they hold a kind of energy memory of whatever you want to put into that crystal. I started studying the past Lemurians, and I studied many artifacts, and one of them were the crystal skulls. Ancients believed that the crystal skulls were a kind of telephone or a kind of computer, and the skulls were placed in different parts of the world. Who worked with that crystal would place their hand over the crystal and psychically send messages to the other crystal. That makes sense to me, because if I've worked with a crystal and given it to a client, whatever that work was that I was doing on that client, the other client would hold that crystal and feel the energy, even though they didn't even know what they were feeling. But whatever was happening was giving them, it was dispersing the very same energy which was given to that client who was suffering from migraine to this client who also suffers from migraine, coincidentally, and all of a sudden their migraines disappear, or at least get a lot better. So there is something in crystals that, whether you believe whether it's the crystal itself or whether it's the higher source that guides people to certain crystals. Now, every crystal dug has its unique energy. That's its base, that's its foundation, its power source, okay? That will never go, never disappear, that's always there. So a crystal, say like an amethyst, dug from the ground, okay, has a power source. And in that power source is its natural formation, where it grew, all of the nature of what was provided to give it this beautiful amazingness. And inside is a memory of the ground and everything that is within that area. So each beautiful piece of amethyst, depending on where it came from, has a unique energy different from another piece of amethyst. So if you have an area of amethyst and then you have another area somewhere else in another country, they will vibrate at their own unique energy. So not every piece of amethyst will vibrate at the same because of where it came from. That's my humble opinion. That's what my conclusion is. So once the crystal comes out of the ground and you are blessed to start working with it, because let me tell you guys, a crystal isn't there to be just looked at, it's there to be worked with. And the whole point is, if I'm coming out of the ground, you better work with me, because the crystal always chooses you. Always. You think you chose it? No, it chose you. It knows, it vibrates at that energy, and that energy is perfect for you, so it chooses you. So, okay, I feel the pull of that crystal. Okay, well, why did you feel the pull? Because I chose it? No, because you felt the vibration coming off the crystal. Therefore, it's the crystal that chooses you. It makes sense. Okay, that feels right. Okay, go for that crystal. There's a reason for it. So when that crystal comes out, over the years that I worked with each individual crystal, and I have over 5,000 crystals now on my website. Each one of those crystals, whichever crystal it may be, okay, the first thing I do is feel the crystal. I look at it and think, okay, that feels great. And then I'll touch the crystal, or I'll focus on it if it's somewhere else in another part of the world, and I'll just meditate on that crystal and then say to the people who I'm buying from, I like them, it feels good, I'll take them. If I am at the place of the source of the crystal, I will have the opportunity to hold it, but I also like to look at it too. I like to feel the energy from a crystal. Whether it's look or feel, it's the same thing. It's the same vibration. So I look at the crystal and I'm drawn to a crystal. I hold the crystal in my hand and then I just sit in silence. I am not looking for anything. I don't want anything. I don't want it to do anything. I'm not trying to make it do anything. I just sit there and see what happens. If I feel my body going into a relaxation, into a healing mode, into peace, that's doing something, even though you might feel it's doing nothing. So you have to be aware of the very subtle energy of how it's shifting your energy. Everybody's looking for a thunderbolt and lightning strike. Big mistake. Don't even bother, but just sit there and just see. And the crystal normally speaks to you, okay? It speaks to you. It speaks to you. You don't need to ask it anything. It will tell you what you need. Therefore, if you sit and be at peace, oh, I just felt this. Oh, I just felt that. So as I'm holding this crystal, I'm receiving a pain in my head here. Me at this moment clear some issue in my head. Okay, so I know that that crystal for me is great for my head, and whatever's happening there, it really hurts. So I'm not going to let go of that crystal because I know whatever this crystal is doing is working. Okay, many people think that if something is negative, because they've touched a crystal, it's not good for them, and it's actually most of the time the opposite. Would you like to hear a story? I have 1,000 of them. On crystals, I'm going to, hopefully in this story, you're going to put your mind at rest. Okay. I remember a day I was sat with two girls, and both girls were on a spiritual path of enlightenment. One girl was called Anna, or Anne. The other girl, I can't remember, I think it was Tony with an I. So I'm sat with these two girls, and this one particular girl who was always upset about her weight, And I used to say to her, you know, you're obsessed. Why is it that every time I meet you, you apologize for your weight? Why do you do that for? Please don't do that. I said, you're a beautiful soul. You're amazing. Stop it. And I gave her a cuddle, and she said, you know what, Mark? I said, tell me. And she looked at Tony, and Tony says, yeah, tell him. She says, I've just met somebody. I said, oh, go on then, tell me, what's he like, or she? No, it's a he. And I said, what's he like? She said, he's absolutely amazing. I said, oh, brilliant. That's really nice. Tell me more. So we sat, we talked for about an hour. And I don't know why, but I at the end of the conversation, I said, Anna, I feel so happy for you. I just feel like I want to give you my Moldavite. And she went, oh my God, a Moldavite. I said, yeah, I just feel I want to give you a Moldavite. So I took it off my neck and I went round the back of her and I put the... 2 days later, I had a phone call. And back then we used to ring, decade and a half, the phone, we used to ring each other. Not WhatsApp. We used to ring each other. Mark, I went, hello, it's Anna. I said, are you okay? She said, no, not really. I said, what's wrong, Angel? She says, why did you give me that Moldavite? My heart sank, and I'm like, I don't know. I just felt that I needed to give it you. I don't have an answer. Why? What's wrong? And please tell me. She said, it was awful. I said, what was awful? She said, she went, I'm not going into too much detail, but she went on to tell me that within 2 days, things went wrong, and the boyfriend had and her had an argument, and they split up. And I said, are you okay? She said, yeah, it wasn't a bad argument. We just had a bit to do, and she says, all I can put it down to is the Moldavite. She said, I think it's evil. And I said, I'm so sorry. She said, explain. I said, I can't explain. I said, I'm only just getting into Moldavite, and it is powerful, and I do understand that. I totally get it. It's powerful, but I've never seen it do anything bad, only good. And she says, well, I just want you to be aware. So I put the phone down, and of course I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, is Moldavite dangerous? Is it bad? I continued working for the next month or 2 months, maybe. It probably may even been 3 months. And I got another message, come and have a coffee. We sat down with Anna, and Tony was there, and we used to have coffees regularly over the years, you know. They came up. She sat down, and I said, how are you doing? And she said, yeah, I'm okay. I said, how are you, Tony? She said, yeah, she's okay. Tell Mark what happened. And I said, oh no, I know what happened. She rung me. She said, no, tell him what happened. But the guy that we'd split up from is now in prison for beating a woman nearly to death. I went, oh. So it clicked instantly. So I'm waiting for it to continue. I'm waiting for her to tell me what she needs to tell me now. And obviously Tony as well. So I'm looking at them, and the conversation changed to something else. I said, excuse me, hang on a minute. Please, let's just go back a bit. Let's reverse back. Freeze frame, let's go back. You've just told me that the guy you were fighting me on the phone and getting so upset because you two split up is the same guy who went out with somebody else who basically put her into hospital and she nearly died, and he's in prison. Am I missing something here that you two haven't figured out? No. And I think, guys, that this is a really, really interesting point, because I think most people never truly understand the point that you know I'm making right now, which is, of course, the Moldavite was so powerful that it showed a partner's true colors and energy, and had absolutely, they would split up and she would not be hurt. Doesn't that make sense? And I said that to them both, and she said, I never thought about it. You're right, it could have been me. And I said, how could you have not thought it could have been you? I mean, and what about the Moldavite? Could that possibly have something to do with it? Because you said it was only the Moldavite that split you up. So if that's the case, now you're right. So that's just one of many stories. I've got flipping loads of stories like that. Loads of stories that Moldavite saved. Not just Moldavite, but other crystals. Other crystals. So, going back to crystals, you hold your beautiful crystal, whatever that crystal is, because now you've just bought that crystal. You want to know, okay, there's a reason that crystal's come to me, because I bought it from a crystal store or wherever you've gone to buy it. What is it I do with it now? How do I work with this crystal? Do I work with it on its own? Do I just put it down in the house? What do I do? How do I, is it energized? Is it, you know, because it might not be Mark Bajerski's crystal. So how do I energize it? What do I do? Okay, well, let's just work on that, shall we? What I tend to do when I first get the crystal is I like to just sit and let it be. So I've got a group of crystals on the floor here, and I just sit them and let them be, okay? I'll show you. So over there, you've got a whole group of Silicon Valley. And then you've got, over here, all the calcites, blue calcite. Then you've got some beautiful ruby garnets, some black feldspar, which is moonstone, and so on. So I've got a group, and I just let them sit. I just let them sit there. I don't rush. I just let them sit there. And then I start to feel the energy within the room. Okay? I start to feel what's going on. And then I'll place a crystal. I'll take one of the crystals. So I take a black moonstone. And depending on what I want from this crystal, I will turn to an oil. An oil is always a beautiful thing to work with when you're working with crystals. So if I'm working on the energy of, say, protection, healing, strengthening, I'll take some sacred oil, which is basically a blend of frankincense, a blend of Palo Santo, and a blend of sage. So, as you can see, one drop. See that? One drop. Okay. I'll rub my fingers together, and then I'll gently rub the oil on the crystal. And I will then sit the crystal depending on what I want to give that crystal. So if I want to give it a very strong energy, I will sit it on another crystal like this. So the combination of the oil and another crystal will put new energy into it. If I want to cleanse a crystal, I will get the cleansing oil. Again, this is filled with Palo Santo. Great oil to get if you can find it. One drop, rubbing your fingers around. And I like to use a beautiful baby crystal. So this is a baby crystal. I like to stick it into the baby crystal. Okay, and just put it inside there, into the baby crystal, and leave it there overnight. So what is a baby crystal, you might ask? A baby crystal is, you see that there? That's one crystal, okay? See this here? There? That's one crystal, okay? The size of them, if you look at these, they're tiny, 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 tiny little crystals, so they haven't grown up yet. They're baby crystals, and there's thousands of them. And when they grow up, they'll grow up to be big pointers like this. So the baby crystals, to me, are fabulous to work in. Fabulous, I love them. So I'll fill them up. I also like to test the crystal. So it's important that I test the crystal. Testing the crystal shows that it's not fake. So every crystal that I work with, I test. And this is the machine I buy. I recommend this machine. So if the meter of the finger, the pointer, goes to glass, that means you've got a piece of glass that's been colored. You know, like marbles? Marbles are colored, right? So that's something that I recommend, a gem tester. If you're interested in crystals and you want to buy them, this is a great investment. And you can buy them online, and they'll start at about 200 to 500, I guess. And then when you start to go more in depth and you want to start looking at certain crystals, so this is a beautiful Omax, and it's all you need. It really is all you need. And when you start to look at crystals in such a powerful way, you can see the structure of them, and you can see the difference between glass and Moldavite. But you can also look at other crystals which are fake and genuine ones, and it gives you an idea, and you start to become, without even realizing, a gemologist, okay, or a meteorologist. And that's really fine and fascinating too. These machines, once you get used to them, and it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to learn how to use it, but it's worth it. And you can go onto YouTube and watch many people teaching you. It becomes fascinating. It really is. These machines are about 500-600, but they're worth it, because if you really love your crystals, it's great to look at them in depth, and it's fascinating. It really is. So another thing that I like to do as well is spray crystals with water, because water is a beautiful thing. So I spray the crystal with water often too. This is Sacred Mist, and it comes from this bottle here. So it's all the beautiful places around the world. So if you find sacred water places anywhere in the world, Fatima, Lourdes, anywhere, you know, the Ganges, anywhere, if you can get that water and it's sacred blessed water, then put it in a bottle and put your own energy into it, or even take some pure water. Take some of that water, not from your tap. It's better if you get it from pure sources, and then sit and meditate with it, send good energy into it. And then when you spray your crystal, again, it elevates it. Let me tell you something about markbajerski.com. Markbajerski.com works on each crystal. When the crystal is ready, it goes down to an office. The office was painted beyond anybody's understanding, because what I did was I got Moldavite dust and mixed it into the paint, and we painted the whole of that beautiful without them even knowing, because I mixed it in myself. They painted Moldavite dust all over the office in the white paint. So it's actually a Moldavite room. When it really kicked in, when this room really kicked in, is when the crystals came, and a beautiful soul came and started using singing bowls, crystal singing bowls. And the vibration of that room, I kid you not, I came back from, I think it was the Czech Republic, after buying lots of Moldavite there. I came and opened the door, and me and another friend said, "This is a different room." And I said, "Yes, something's happened." And I made a phone call, and apparently this beautiful soul from Peru came and used the singing bowls in the room, activated the Moldavite in a unique way. At the very beginning of this workshop, I took a Moldavite singing bowl out and I put Moldavite inside it and started vibrating. You could hear the vibration and feel it. The reason why I do that is because I want to heighten the energy as sound therapy within the crystal too. So on all the crystals that I sell and work with are all sound therapy activated. They're all activated by pure energy healing because of clients and what they've experienced. So that energy has gone into that crystal. I work with them only when I'm happy. And this is something you need to be aware of too. Down at the office, nobody goes into that office. Nobody goes in, only staff. And the staff only goes in when they're happy. They cannot go in when they're sad. When they're sad, they retrieve a crystal, but they don't go in and start working with the crystals. And the reason why is because when a crystal is ready and I finish, so if you're not feeling well, that crystal is now starting to help healing people. But I'm saying, no, leave them there. I want them for the clients. If you need a crystal, let me know. I'll give you a crystal and then you can work on that crystal. If people are coming into that office and they're ill and sick, the crystals will activate and start blasting them an energy. Not that that energy ever dies, but in my mind, I want a crystal ready so that when it gets into your hand, it does its work for you. So with me, I will never go near a crystal if I have to work with it and I'm not feeling well, because it doesn't work, because that crystal will be giving me energy and not the other way around. So the only time I work with crystal is when I'm 100%. When I'm 100%, I'll put energy into all my personal crystals that I wear. So if I'm feeling really good, that is my moment to say, Mark, energize your crystals, work with them. So I give back that good energy for it then to give me back when I'm feeling down. You get it? So people laugh at my work and say you're talking nonsense. But when you really look at the scientific way I do it, it's actually makes sense. It isn't a joke. It isn't a lie. It isn't fraud. It's actually real science. If you spent a week with me, you'd say this guy really does do what he's doing, and how he does it makes bloody sense. And look at the effects of people when they receive a crystal. You read the testimonials. Well, you know what, mate? I've been doing it 16 years. You telling me I'm a fraud? I've worked with people for 16 years. Come and talk to them. You ask them how they feel now. And what was it? What helped them move away from an abusive relationship for 20 years after holding one of my crystals and saying, you know what? I'm not doing this no more. Why is that? Was that just coincidence at the time? Or could it be the crystal gave them so much strength and so much intuition and awakening that they said, you know what? This is never going to work. Time for me to go. I'm stronger now. So I've seen miracles with crystals. I've seen, and this is the truth, I have seen tumors go down with people working with crystals. I've seen illnesses disappear with people working with crystals. Don't tell me a crystal is just a crystal. It isn't. It's far more. Okay? So these are chosen crystals that go into the oil and they stay there maybe 1 month or 2 years. 5 years, some are in there 15 years. Every now and again, I'll take those crystals out and replenish them, and then those crystals then will be sent to Bali. They will be mounted and sent back, and then they will go straight into the collection of Mark Bajerski's crystals. So all my crystals work in unique ways, which are so fascinating that I'm blown away sometimes. Putting a crystal into Mother Earth is different than energizing the crystal like we just did. So when I put, say, Moldavite, if I get Moldavite oil or awakening oil, and I rub one bit of Moldavite oil and hold it in my hand, I am energizing that to a new vibration. When I'm cleansing the crystal, I'm putting cleansing oil, or I'll bury it, or I'll put it into the sun. So there's 2 different types of healing work when you are wanting to work with a crystal. One, you're clearing anything around it. It's negative energy if you believe that. I don't believe there's such thing as a crystal holding negative energy. I just believe that when we cleanse it and clear it, we're giving it good energy. The other form of working with crystal is that when you are rubbing like a Moldavite oil on, you are heightening its vibration by your vibration. So there's 2 forms here how you work with a crystal. So a crystal will help heal you, and a crystal will help awaken you. 2 different very forms of energy work. So you have a protection and you also have an awakening energy. So I see a crystal that does 2 things most of the time. So it clears the illness, that clears the negativity, and the other one is strengthen you and awakens you. That's how I kind of see crystals. So yeah, okay, I've talked a lot. I love crystals but don't feel drawn to Moldavite, and that's brilliant. Follow that intuition. Don't be pulled into the Moldavite rush, which a lot of people say, oh, if you're not ready, if you're not strong enough. I mean, it's just nonsense. It comes when it's meant to come, if it's meant to come, and if it's not meant to come, it doesn't. People ask me every day, hey Mark, have you heard about the desert glass? No, what is it? Well, it's a form of Moldavite. It's a yellow form of Moldavite. No, I've heard about it, but never been drawn to it. Oh, does that mean it's bad? No. Why would it? I haven't touched thousands of crystals. Does that mean they're bad? It just means that it's not meant for me. Okay, so don't ever feel that if people are talking about a crystal and if it doesn't feel right, that there's something wrong with you. It just means that it's not your energy. It's not what you need. You don't need it at that moment. If you need it, it will come into your life. So I hope that answers your question. Libyan desert, exactly. So loads and loads and loads of people keep telling me to buy it and use it. I've never felt drawn to it as yet. So it means that I'm not ready for it yet. And I love listening to people talking about it, But for me, I haven't felt drawn to it, and I only want a crystal that I feel drawn to. So if you watch me, if you ever come to a show with me, or if you've ever seen me at a show, and I know a few of you have, you know what I'm like. I'm like in a different world. So it's difficult to talk to me because I'm attuning to crystals. I haven't got time to talk. I've got, I'm like boom, 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 boom. No, no, no. That's always that make it bad because you say no. No, it's just not what I'm drawn to. So in my world, if I'm drawn to this beautiful crystal that you're talking about, it means that I have to work on that for a client, and that means that that crystal is going to be ready for a client. So that's how I see it. So I go to shows with the intention of, okay, guys, I'm ready. Tell me what I need to get. Not I'm buying what I like and what I want. And I don't work like that. I buy what I'm called to. People come to shows with me and say, bloody hell, why did you just buy that? And I say, I don't know, I feel drawn to it. And it's the most ugliest crystal in the world. It's tatty, it's ripped, it's smashed. That's what I want. And then I realized that after 6 months or 3 months, that the person who put that in their hand, their life changed. So I don't look at, and when people come to my website and say, tell me what size it is, tell me a bit more about it, all these questions, it's not meant for you. You should feel it and say, I want that and I don't know why. Okay, that's for you. That's for you, because that's how I choose them. I don't choose them because, oh, it's pretty. Oh, it's just the right size, it fits. I send crystals off to people, and people like, I know a lot of you guys probably don't even say it, but sometimes they're so big, you think, what the bloody hell am I going to do with that? But you know what? If it's massive, it means that you're going to work with it. It means that you're a healer. It means that you're going to work. You're going to do the work. It's a big piece. So I'm going to express myself for this big piece. And you know what? Sometimes they're only tiny. And you're expressing yourself with a tiny piece when you hold it in your hand or putting it on your third eye. So there is no right or wrong. There is no right and wrong in crystals. And if anybody says there is a right and wrong, then I'm sorry, I'd be a little bit concerned about that person, because that's just ego speaking. So for me, everything is beautiful and everything is a learning curve. And I learn so much from people who talk to me every day, who come here. And I find it fascinating to, I love to know what people are wearing at the moment. Okay. What is a good stone for confusion? Okay. It's a great question. Confusion. What is confusion? Where does the energy of confusion come from? It could be related to many different aspects of your life. It could be that there is blocks in your pipes. So you are a breathing vessel. So the biggest breathing vessel is, of course, your mouth. It comes through your mouth, down there and out of your bum, right? That's a breathing. And then all the rest of your body is breathing, like your skin, your pores. They're all breathing vessels. Straight up to the brain, everywhere. Everything's breathing all the time, in and out. Comes, in, out. It's a breathing. So you need to drink lots of water. As you're drinking water, you're clearing all of those pipes out. When you clear those pipes out, your confusion disappears. You eat plenty of nuts. By eating nuts, you're strengthening the brain. The confusion will tend to not be as confusing anymore, because you're starting to think a little bit more, because your brain is activating with nuts. Thing as well is a healing session with confusion, because when you have a healing session, it clears away the stress, the worry, the fears, and all the things that you didn't even know you had. So if you can find a good healer to give you a good healing session, you'll find that the confusion disappears. And by that is that everything is as it should be. Where I am right now is where I'm meant to be, and where I'm taken to is exactly where I'm going. By those beautiful words, you learn to let go of stress and time and worry, and I'm only here for another 20, 30, 40 years. I've got all my life to lead and everything's going wrong, and all my family is upset, and I don't know what I'm doing. And before you know it, you're ready to explode. So to finalize, a crystal for confusion, I really love moonstone. I don't know why, but moonstone is that kind of mystical crystal that puts things into place. So pink moonstone in particular, but rainbow moonstone, again, both beautiful crystal. Another good crystal for confusion as well is a crystal called Labradorite. It's a really powerful crystal and it really puts things into perspective in your life. So that's another good crystal as well. Maybe some people on here might be able to give you advice if you have ever felt that energy of confusion. So maybe you should listen to some of the comments here as well. Oh, that's my favorite crystal. Oh, good. Yeah, it's one of my favorite crystals too. That's why I have so many of them. So we have basically a whole load of labradorites here. Absolutely all hand chosen and absolutely amazing powerful. Come from a beautiful source. And then these, which are in their natural form, absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, love my labradorite. It's gorgeous, even though I can't pronounce it. I'm holding it just now. I picked it out 30 minutes ago. Well, there you go. See you go. Yeah, you're in tune. Well done. I love anything. Are always an indicator that they've done their work and that we can now split them. So in here, there are many cracked crystals that I use in my oils because I love the cracked crystals. I don't waste them. I always put them in my oils. And then what I do is I'll take them out, and if I feel somebody needs one, I give a cracked crystal to somebody. And the other thing is, which is really beautiful, is if you love somebody, whether it's a child that you love or a sister or a brother or a best friend, then what could be more beautiful than when a crystal is broken, give, if it's broken to 3 or 2, then give that piece to them and you keep the other piece and say, hold that whenever you feel me around or whenever you're thinking about me, and I'll think about you, and then you send each other love. And it's amazing. It's just like the energy of the Lemurian skulls. If you hold that crystal, put good energy into it, you can send it to somebody else. Well, these crystals apparently were attuned to each other. So if each high priestess was touching that crystal at the same time, they would feel that energy. So imagine if you've given that crystal to somebody that's cracked and you've got half, they've got the other half, you can attune into it together and feel that love. I know it sounds all sloppy and stuff, but it really worked really well for me, and I shared that with clients also, and they said it was lovely. Can you recommend a crystal for a 12-year-old child? Her mind is everywhere. Yeah, not present at the moment. Yeah, it's a great question. I would start very, very lightly with a really powerful crystal that is very easy to obtain. And I would always go with this crystal. With a young girl like that, I would go for, it's a very powerful crystal too, it's rose quartz. Go for a high, try and get a very high quality rose quartz. So you'll feel the power of the high quality. I only choose high quality rose quartz on whenever I work with them. There's lots of rose quartz out there, but I like to get the high quality one, the really vibrant rose quartz, and you can feel them. So that's an amazing. Sorry, I know a lot of people have an issue with this, like a lot of crystals or non-crystals, whatever you want to call it. But there is one particular crystal that I used to charge up and really, really love, and that was called opalite. Another one which always springs to mind, which is a really beautiful one, which isn't a crystal, it's a pearl. And I'd look towards pearls as well for the young girl. The pearl has a really amazing detoxifying and calmness about it, and it works really, really well with other crystals as well. So a beautiful, whether it's a cultured pearl, whether it's a water pearl, it doesn't matter. Pearls have this really unique energy which really calms the mind. So I hope that helps. I gave a small piece of Moldavite pendant, which she looks every day. Yeah. I gave her a small piece of Moldavite pendant. It's on her stuffed animal. Oh, that's beautiful. What a brilliant move. Congratulations. What is my take on the Bible? Well, I got a dodgy table here, right? And it kind of like unbalances. But you know what? The Bible, if you just put it underneath there, right? It sturdies the table amazing. And it doubles up for an amazing fly squat in Spain because you can knock the flies. Gives you an idea. Let me tell you what about the Bible and my interpretation of the Bible. Everybody has interpreted the Bible wrongly. And I believe if you look at the real geniuses who studied the Bible for not 1 year or 2 years, but 50 years, Jordan Maxwell is one of my heroes because he studied the Bible. So the Bible is basically an interpretation. It's not really what it says it is. The Bible's filled with sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and it really is. But we've interpreted it so differently to fit into people's religious ideology that we've lost the true interpretation of the Bible. If you want to know a little bit about the Bible, then write down the name Jordan Maxwell. Go, you'll start to understand a little bit more about the Bible. Okay? But it's all metaphor. Everything's metaphor. Everything. So if you learn to read the Bible for how it's meant to be read, you'll understand that the Bible is a bloody powerful thing. But most people have no idea and read it as they want to interpret it. That's my take. But I'm not religious. And I don't put Bible down to religion. It's just words of people that have spoke about things. Lapis. Confidence, I think. Yeah, absolutely. Lapis is brilliant for speaking the truth. Bang on. Well done. It's true. Yeah, well done. Migraines. Yeah, migraines is a really interesting one because for me, migraines isn't what we think it is. And migraines don't just sort of come because of, a migraine is a build-up. It's a build-up. And why does it build up? And what triggers migraines? That's what I find fascinating. When I used to give healing sessions to my clients with migraines, they always used to say that the migraine shot up, and after a healing session, it'd come down. And then they'd get another migraine attack, and then it'd shoot up after a healing session and come down, but it would never come as low down as it did do. So it'd shoot up again, a healing session, then come down, and then shoot up, and come down and shoot up, and then eventually the migraines would disappear. So migraines can be healed by a good pure energy healer or by a healer who knows what they're doing. And it really opens up to clear away whatever is in there. So what's in there is like a fist, a knuckle of something, and then you trigger that knuckle so nothing can get through it. So again, it's like a vessel which is blocked. And then you have struggle because you're not receiving what you need through your body. So there's a lack of something in the body. People are triggered by migraines from stress. People are triggered by chocolate. People are triggered by many different aspects of living. But migraines ultimately can be healed. And one of the things that I used to really love to do with my clients is rub a crystal with oil over the top of their head. And I always used to go for the here is okay, but that's not where the migraine release. So I would always put like this. I know this sounds crazy, but I used to say to my clients, and give them an idea of a certain crystal and then say, put it inside like a hat or, something that fits over your head. So it's on there all the time. So they'd stitch it into, I'll just show you. So you've got like a hat like this. So you turn it inside out you just cut that there, place a crystal inside there, sew it back up, you put the hat on, okay, and you wear the hat. When you're going out, or you find a way to wear a crystal on the crown. They call it a chakra here. And it's a really, really good thing. Now, you trying different types of crystals. One of the big flat piece of tektite, and I'd stick it on the forehead, or if I'm doing meditation, I'd put the tektite here and here. The tektite is an absorber of negative energy. And headaches and migraines normally come because it's a buildup of negative energy. So it's like a ball, it turns into physical. So you need to clear that away. So that's one of the crystals I'd use. The other crystal I'd use as well, which was fascinating when I went to Bali and saw a healer using one in his hand, and it was freely available in Bali when you're there, and that's called lava stone. So that's another great, great crystal. Some agates are brilliant as well, and I really like the agate. When I was healing my clients, they would come and say, would you do a healing session with oil? So what I used to do is lie them down, and I'd get whatever oil I liked, which was normally, if I was doing headaches, it would be healing oil. So my healing oil is here, and when you smell the healing oil, and I put lavender in there, and I'd rub it on the forehead and the top of your crown chakra, and start working with a beautiful agate. And it was an ocean jasper and garden quartz. What was the other one I used on it? Agate. What was that agate? Oh, I can't remember the name of the agate now. Oh, I can't remember, but at least those two crystals are great. Bumblebee. Bumblebee agate. Bumblebee. Is that a jasper? It's agate. Anyways, bumblebee. You can't miss it. It looks like a bumblebee. And I just gently massage the agate or whatever crystal on just gently on top of here, and then all across here as well, just to make them feel a bit better. This, when you go here, this is a release, because the pain sometimes goes to the eyes and the nose and the head. So I'd release first, and then I'd go to the source, which is somewhere up here. So I'd be working on the crown chakra, and I'd be just like massaging it gently with a crystal. And all of a sudden, if I get a freak, because I'd say to my client, tell me if you feel a sudden pain. Eventually, after 4 or 5 years, I never used to say that, because I could even feel a pain when it happens. And it's a sharp stabbing pain, and that's where I know I need to heal. And as soon as I get the sharp stabbing pain, that means stop where you are, Mark. Continue working there until that pain disappears from your head. As soon as it's gone, then you've cleared theirs, because I become a mirror image of them. I hope some of this makes sense to you guys. I really do. What time did we start? How long have we been going? Has it been an hour already? It's like an hour and 23 minutes. I can't believe it. Flipping heck. I could talk all day about crystals. I wonder, can you wear, what was that? I wonder, can you wear too many crystals? No, I made a video 2 days ago about wearing crystals. Please watch that. It's on this channel, and if you scroll down, you'll see it. It's can you combine crystals? Okay, that'll give you all the. I didn't see that. No, crystals. Crystals for nerve. Nerve issue is a really fascinating subject. It's another subject completely. But yeah, there are certain crystals that I used to use for nerve or nerve damage. That it's a real interesting topic, by the way. And I really like the idea of Chinese medicine and all of that. Right, nerve damage. flipping heck, there's so many different types I used to use. One of them I used to really like, and it was kind of like, does this one really work? And it was called blue lace agate. It's a quite interesting crystal, and it's a really and how I would use it is wherever your nerve, as it's sciatica, I don't know. I'm not a doctor of any sort, but sciatic nerves and nerves in the back and all over. What I used to do is create like a belt or some kind of sticky tape and put it on the back. So one of them, which is not very good when you take it off, but I used to use a bit of duct tape. So I used to have a back pain, or so I thought, and I used to put a beautiful crystal on my back, and I used to stick it on with duct tape, and I used to leave it there all day, and I could feel the relief after about an hour. I think, oh, this is really working. What I didn't realize for a long time is I didn't have backache. I had issues with my kidneys, and this crystal was healing my kidneys. Incredible. So I'm sorry I'm diverting, but yeah. Yeah, there is one crystal that I used to like working with, but it's a very difficult crystal to work with. But the energy of that crystal is brilliant for nerve damage or nerve issue. But it's a difficult crystal to wear because it's so unusual in shape, and that's called Chinese FF quartz. Yeah, but yeah, that was one crystal I used to work with, but it's a challenging crystal to work with when you're using it on the body as well. But if you wear it, again, it's a bit challenging because of its pointers, but it's a fabulous crystal. Alexandrite, it's a bloody expensive crystal, but I saw some amazing work done with nerve damage. Alexandrite, it's a Russian crystal. I prefer the green Alexandrite for that kind of, and so, but it did work. It really did work. I used to have a ring, and I used to use the ring for many years until I gave it away to a very special person with nerve damage, and she swore blind to it. So yeah. The other crystal that I also like working with is clear quartz, but I found that when I auraed it into an angel aura, so if you try angel aura, it's brilliant. And also, again, I'm gonna say another crystal too, which is pearl. Try pearl as well, a brilliant crystal for that, for nerve. Okay, I think I'm just about done. Autoimmune system. Oof, challenging. Celestine quartz for that. What I remember of a client who had that was one of the crystals that they had in their home, and I said, wow, that's beautiful, and she said it helped with that autoimmune system. So Celestine quartz, it was a massive piece, and then that encouraged me to go and buy a massive piece. And then yeah, I remember doing a healing session on somebody with that, and yeah, weird. I should write that down in my book. Brings back memories. So I was working on a client with the same autoimmune system disease, whatever you ever want to call it. As I was doing the healing work on the brain, top of the head, the crystal Christian bought off me. Well, we actually split half to give to Cecilia as a birthday present. Yeah, brilliant crystal. Sorry, I'm off on one. Oh, brings back memories, all the work that I've done, and they're like, oh my God, do you remember what happened then? Do you remember what happened then? I mean, I've literally had crystals smash in front of me many times. Really, if you know anybody who's got really at the moment it's awful. People can't even have any kind of surgery or can't have anything done, and they've got cancer and things. So the one crystal that really worked and helped me was Sleeping Beauty. And yeah, that's why, I mean, every time I'm at a show, every time somebody has Sleeping Beauty, I buy it because it's becoming rarer now. It's hard to get hold of. It's been faked everywhere. So yeah, for cancer, Sleeping Beauty. But like for me, like if you go to markbajerski.com and click under audiobooks and click on Seeing the Invisible audiobook, it's on the homepage, and listen to the story. This was a very common story of sleeping Buddha just shattering with people, and it helped with cancer. It really made a big difference. But right now, if you want to start to heal yourself from cancer, I would be certainly changing your diet completely and eating raw fruit and vegetables, drinking plenty of water, staying away from all non-foods, all toxins. And a lot of my clients who had cancer, whether it was in the brain or in the body, they would stop eating shit completely, bad non-foods, crap, and they would start eating healthy, organic, raw fruit and vegetables, and they swore blind that when they went back, that disease was slowly disappearing, that tumor was going. So it's something to think about, guys. This is the time. I guess that like now they're stopping people from having any kind of treatment. Well, maybe it's time you took on your own treatment and start to look after your body and start to take shut up, Mark. It's none of my business. But you know what, if it was me, watch yourself heal. And also, okay, my mother has just bypass. Okay, bypass was drawn to my crystals. Okay, brilliant. Some great stories. Yeah, I'm not a doctor, guys, but I can tell you that from my tens of thousands of clients, I've seen people who were told they were going to die, and then they went onto a raw fruit and vegetable diet, and it's gone. Where's your cancer? It's gone. Stopped. Okay, well, nobody's talking about that. Why not? Well, they don't want to talk about it. What do you want to talk about cure for? There's no business in cure. There's no profit in cure. I learned that 16 years ago. I love your calming energy. What, just then? I get upset sometimes when I know that the world could be cured in a day. I know that there's cure of cancer out there. I know Dr. Brzezinski should be the guy that they're putting on a pedestal and looking upon his stem cell treatment, which is a genuine healing treatment. The blushwood fruit from Australia cures at least 5 different types of skin cancer in 24 hours. Why are we not hearing about that? Well, we're not hearing about it because there's no profit in that. So when you realize that we are run by a mafia gangster organization that is in control of government, then you realize that nobody cares about you. They don't care about health, they care about profit. But you know that, guys. I don't need to like preaching to the converted. I'm not doing it no more. You already know what I think. Oh, absolutely. The power of mind is connected to the immune system. It's connected to the every part of all the different parts of the body, physical, emotional, mental, the nerves. It's all connected. If you think happy, you heal yourself, and you can heal yourself by thinking you're healed. That's why I tell myself every day I'm healed, but I also eat healthy and put the right food in my body. And drink plenty of natural water. I travel 5 hours to get my water. It's the importance of your life is what you feel is important about yourself. So I am important, therefore I will do things that you may think this is crazy, but it's not. What's crazy is you just saying, oh, I'll eat it anyway. Oh, it's a bit of meat. I'll eat it anyway. Oh, it's just a bit of processed food in a can. Oh, can't be bothered. I'll just eat it. All right, carry on then. And I'll see you in 6 weeks or a year. And, oh, you've got cancer or you've got an illness. Well, there you go. The illness came because your body couldn't cope with the crap that you're eating, because it said, what are you putting in me? But when you put fresh water into you without no contamination, the body says thank you. When you eat fresh fruit and vegetables with no pesticides, no nastiness, thank you. You're feeding your body, and your body loves you for it, and it will help you. So it's all connected. You're around toxic people, you're going to take that toxins into you. So again, crystals are amazing to heal, strengthen, and awaken and protect in so many ways. Helps you become the strength that you are. I wish you all a beautiful day. That is my 1 hour and 35 minutes of my gift to you from just a fraction of what we talk about on the Pure Energy Healing course. And maybe, just maybe, if you want to learn to heal yourself, if you are in a bad place or you know somebody who's in a bad place and you want to know how can I help them, then maybe, just maybe, you might want to register today for the next Pure Energy Healing course, online and interactive with me and Layla Satie. Become the most amazing healer that you already are. That is like the tools that will help you heal others and yourself. If you think this 1 hour and a half was interesting, well, get ready for 4 magical days every day where you learn to heal, self-heal, and all the tools and everything that I've learned. It's a beautiful course, and it's now up for registration, and it's on April the 1st. April the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So take them 4 days off and just fully focus on our course, and I'll see you there. Have a beautiful day. I'll post the link below. Love you all, guys. Take care of yourself, and you've got till tomorrow. If you want, you don't have to, but if you want, Moldavite is going to be raffled tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So it's that, I don't know where it is, the big beautiful, oh, there it is. This Malik Clum Moldavite, which is about 450 euros. And this, which is about 400 euros. And this is a Besenitze. These two are going into a raffle. And all you need to do to enter into the raffle, it's only 1 ticket, is go to Bajerski.com and purchase anything there, whether it's an ebook for a £5 or a crystal, doesn't matter. That gives you 1 purchase. And go to Lemon House and buy a crystal or anything there. Those two will come together, and that will make 1 ticket, and you could win these two tomorrow at 6 o'clock. I'll leave the links below, guys. Good luck. And yeah, I wish you a lovely day. I hope you've learned something from what I've shared today about crystals a little bit more. But you know what, guys? There's a lot to learn, and it's never ending. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Thank you for joining me today. Love you all.